Hello everyone and welcome to Playables and Polygons. My name is Nee.
I'm Mariah.
I'm Johnson.
Today we'll be talking about new games, game updates, old games, and even some game movies. Let's get started. So, the first game, well actually, I've been dying to talk about it for a while. There's a new game called Ogong Black Myth. That's the game
Okay.
I'll be talking about.
So, what's it about?
It's based on the 16th century's Chinese novel, and there's a movie, there's shows about it from a long time ago, like during the 1900s. I watched them and I love it.
So this is a new game coming out about it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, based on the trailer I'm watching, it's like showing the Monkey King doing a lot of stuff like combat and all the crazy creatures that try to kill him and all that stuff. In the story of the 16th century, it was supposed to base on a monk who has like actual like, if you kill the monk and eat him, you become immortal. That's what the monster was trying to achieve. But usually, the Monkey King usually challenged Buddha, saying that I'm stronger than you, and he thinks that he's a god. So Buddha proved him wrong. He gave him a challenge. Raise his hand and trap the Monkey King and ask him if you can get out of it, then you are truly a god. And he tried to fly and do a bunch of stuff. He just couldn't. So later on, Buddha got tired of it, smacked him down on top of the rock for eternally.
So is this the movie? Like, is that what happened in the movie?
That happens. I don't know if the movie. I haven't know a little bit, but that's what happened in the show during the 1900s of the 16th century. My dad shows me about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When does it come out?
It comes out in August 2024, which I'm excited.
Okay, that's not too bad. That's actually just a couple months now.
Yeah, so it's like throughout the whole journey, they're protecting a monk, and there's gonna be a Monkey King, a pig, and I'm assuming one of them's like the water god. Just like follow through the journey and actually make it. I don't know what happened at the end, which I'm gonna have to go back and watch it so I can prepare for the game.
Do you know what platforms it's going to be on?
I think like Xbox gonna be on it, PlayStation, and I think Stream. I'm not sure.
Is it a single player game?
I'm pretty sure it is. Like it's pretty close, like Monster Hunter.
Oh,
I
so
think
it's like a Monster Hunter.
It looked like it from what I'm seeing of the
That's cool.
perspective.
I actually messed with Monster Hunter a good bit. Like that was a game I played a good bit
I've
of.
been wanting to since I saw a cat bakery and you could watch the bread, the loaves go through the cat bakery.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They need it.
Interesting. Well, I don't like Monster Hunter. I played it. I died so many times. I almost threw the controller across my room, and I was like saying, nope, I'm done. I just delete the game and never touch it again.
Seems like you do that a lot, Aaron.
Yeah, that's probably a skill issue for me, but
There's been a game that I've been playing that I've absolutely fallen in love with. Like, everything about it was just so perfect to me. The soundtrack, the combat, the overall story, everything, the style about it. And that game is Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm interested.
Me too.
So it came out, like, I want to say about 3 years ago. So back in 21. It was announced, like, a long time ago. Like, back in, I want to say, like, 2012.
Wow. that is a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah, it was announced in 2012 and didn't come out till 21. The game was really, really buggy when it first came out.
I did read about that a lot. I know a lot of people were disappointed, but also it seemed like they were kind of rushed.
Yeah, you could tell that the dev team was rushed because there was a lot happening between, like, they were going to lose sponsors.
What's go
for it.
ahead. What's the game about? Like, is it based on 2077? Literally the name, since it's called Cyberpunk.
It takes place during 2077.
I was right.
And you play a character named V,
Okay.
which actually, it's kind of cool. Your name is different. It's not actually V. There's a certain point in the game where someone calls you by your real name, and you're like, "That's not my name. I don't go by that." name
Oh,
anymore."
interesting.
But the game is fun. The character creation, you can create your own character. I like that they chose the name V because that's a very unisex name.
Okay.
Mhm,
Like,
very.
It can be for either of them.
Yeah.
I don't know any of that stuff, so
the game starts out, or at least the life path I chose for my first playthrough, starts you out getting a job. You just fixed your nose. It was broken. You got jumped by somebody.
Ooh.
Do I get to beat him? Like just punch them?
No, sadly you didn't get to go back and fight them.
That sucks, but
Starts out, it's pretty slow in the beginning, I will say that. The game does take a minute for everything to like pick up. But once you start nearing the second act where America's love, pride, and joy, Keanu Reeves, appears.
amazing.
That's
I already
when
want
it
the
starts
game.
to pick up.
Same.
Oh, it's such a good game. The soundtrack I highly recommend. Like, the music is just perfect. If you're a big metal fan,
You know I
there's
am.
a lot of metal.
Interesting.
The game,
Kind of like Doom-esque.
Oh yeah, couple of them. The game really reels you in with characters though, like making you emotionally attached to them. There's a character during the prologue named Jackie. You only know him for one chapter.
Oh,
Because it takes you through like a montage of what you were doing before,
okay.
how you met him, and your life now with each other.
That's cool, actually.
And I thought that was really cool because it establishes a friendship with him that is already, it's already there.
I have one question for you before you keep going. So, is it like Watchdog? When I watched the trailer of the Cyberpunk, it looked like it's like basic technology, like Watchdog stuff like that.
Not like Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs plays a little differently. Cyberpunk, it leans way more into the fact that this is the future and you have robot parts in your body. Like, it leans a lot more into that.
I'm a sci-fi fantasy person, so I love stuff like that. I plan to actually make a cyberpunk world in Minecraft soon.
Ooh, yeah.
So both of you probably know about Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is a very popular game made by one man and one man only, Eric Barone, also known as Concerned Ape.
Genius.
It came out February 26, 2016, but most recently it got a really, really big update. May 19th, 2024. The update was supposed to be only bug fixes, but I guess he got a bit carried away and started making everything else. Some of the examples of the new things in the update, trying not to spoil, there's a new weather, there's a mastery system for the skills, there's a new farm type, you can get more pets, you can put hats on your pets.
So what's with the mastery system? Because I'm I play through a lot of games and beat them all the way through, but none of them ever really have mastery like after you've completed everything.
Honestly, I have no clue. I haven't tried it yet. I just got on one of my games all 10 skills, so I am going to check that out. All I know is you do have to get 10 in each. You have to get the max level in each skill that you can get.
Oh, wow.
And it's pretty hard, but it's rewarding because you get crafting supplies and you can choose this profession. It's very nice. One of my likes of this update is something called Green Rain.
What's that?
It's a weather event. It happens once, sometime in summer, and the people of the valley freak out because a lot of them think it's acid rain. A lot of them think it's gonna kill them. There's even a really sad scene where when you go into the old lady's house while the green rain is going on, she prays that she can make it to see her grandson prosper in life. So that's really sad.
So does the green rain do anything?
It causes moss to grow everywhere. Grass is very common. All the trees have moss on it. There's different types of trees during the green rain. But it doesn't do anything bad-wise. People just think it will.
It doesn't damage you?
Does it block existence or something like that if they grow so much?
I mean, it can, but you can still break that stuff. Now it's time for a break from our sponsors.
Do you feel bland? Are you struggling to find excitement in your life? Well, look no further than King Edward VII's golden egg. With this beautiful showpiece, you will truly feel like royalty. Friends and neighbor will say,
Wow.
And when they see the embedded synthetic jewels and museum quality materials, it is an irresistible collectible. It can be yours for only $59.99. So call 505-503-4455 and now order while the supply lasts. Again, that's 505-503-4455. King Edward VII Golden Egg. Relive royalty.
Thank you from our sponsors.
That's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for listening in and have a good one.
Goodbye.
Hello and welcome back to Celebrity Slice, the show all about the latest in pulp culture news. I'm Katie Games.
And I'm Julia Moreira de Oliveira, and we are here to fill you in on the craziest stories of the celebrities in the world.
Our first segment is called Believe It or Not, when we tell you the most mind-blowing facts about celebrities.
Believe it or not, actress Angelina Jolie likes to snack on insects in her free time, and so do her kids.
Eating bugs for a good snack.
She said the crickets are really good. They look like crisp potatoes.
Oh.
My question, why you don't eat crisp potatoes?
Yeah, why wouldn't you, go eat some potato chips? Why are you resorting to bugs?
Yeah. Well, if they say, oh, this is good, eat a bug, I say,
Mm-mm.
good for you. You can eat.
Yeah, I mean, every man for himself, but I'm not eating a bug. I would rather do a lot of things than eat a bug. I'm not eating a bug.
Mm-mm.
No.
Never.
I mean, Angelina Jolie, she can get away with eating bugs.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
You can eat potatoes.
Eat the potatoes.
Eat your potatoes.
Ew. Anyways, another crazy fact is that Megan Fox listens to Britney Spears albums every time she gets on an airplane because she says, and I quote, "It's not in my destiny to die listening to a Britney Spears album." So she plays it when she's on the airplane because she knows that the plane won't crash and die.
She's saving a lot of lives, not only her life.
That Britney Spears. I mean, I hope I don't die listening to Britney Spears.
I don't know. I listen everything when I'm there playing. I only click on the button and say, "Oh, play." Go.
I've never even been on an airplane. There's something very unsettling to me about like a big piece of metal just flying in the sky.
Because it makes sense.
No.
Like, well, how?
Because like there's just so many things that I don't trust. I don't trust that. I don't trust spaceships. Stop going to space.
But they need to know about it.
We've made it this far without knowing about space.
And the airplanes is how I'm here today.
If you go to the bathroom on an airplane, where does it go? Does it just fly into the sky?
It's like only...
That was so stupid of me to think
You
that
only... you don't feel nothing. Only they make a real loud sound and you think we'll die. But you're not. Why I sleeping all the time on with music in my ear.
Yeah. All right. So we have a couple things to get into today. I'm sure everyone's heard about the TikTok ban. Heartbreaking.
Yeah,
I think.
it's not a good idea. So the TikTok ban is because the President Biden on Wednesday saying out loud that couldn't ban Chinese only TikTok unless it's sold within a year.
And I don't think they're going to sell it.
Probably not.
No. They're banking
you
on TikTok.
lose your TikTok.
Yeah. I can't lose my TikTok. I love TikTok so much. It's like my favorite thing. It's my favorite hobby. TikTok.
The TikToks, like, you stay, oh no, I only stay like 3 videos. No, you stay like 3 hours.
Yes. Yes, 100%. I mean, maybe it'll be good for me that TikTok's not a thing anymore. But, like...
It's only because, like, people stay in TikTok whole day and do nothing more.
So what if they take my information? Let them have it. Oh, I hope they don't take my information. Actually, that would be really
I don't think
scary.
they take the information.
I don't know.
My mom come with
that-
this one time. I look and say, Mom, no, my TikToks continue with my phone. I don't care. They can take it. They don't
I
use
think-
for
and
nothing. Like,
You know what? TikTok is not the only thing taking our information.
probably not.
No, not at all.
We have
because you to-
Instagram. We have all the things we go in the Google,
yeah.
and then we only say,
Everything has your location all the time. Everything has your address. Like it's
you only
not
put,
just TikTok.
I accept. You don't know what you accept, but you accept.
Yep.
You can show your own, like, your life, and you don't know about.
You don't know because you're not gonna read any of it. You're just gonna
like-
say, "I accept."
It's like a lot of pages with.
Listen,
saying-
and I'm guilty. Me
Uh-huh.
right here.
I know.
Me. I'm guilty. I'm so guilty. But I don't even care. I love my TikTok. I guess Instagram Reels is kind of the same, but like
My Reels is real different than my TikTok. My
My-
Reels have more people following.
okay, guys, listen. I don't know if it's just me, but my Instagram Reels are like bad.
People follow.
I mean like
Old people going to the floor and you laugh a lot.
yes.
Others mine
Like it's
too.
always like people falling off of something or
Uh-huh.
just something tragic. All
Oh.
of them are so tragic.
And I laugh in all them.
And I feel horrible for laughing at some of the stuff, but like come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm just me. I have to laugh.
The worst is when you're laughing and the people put a Jesus photo and looking at you say,
And then you're like, "Oh boy. Now I'm a horrible person. I'm a horrible person."
I laugh about everything, so it's not.
I do too.
Like, if some people is yelling with me, I will start laughing because I don't know what I'm doing. I only laugh in your face and you think she's making fun of. No, I only don't know. My stress is for
Yeah.
I'm laughing.
I mean, sometimes like I know this is going to sound shocking, but I make fun of people sometimes.
Me too.
And it's okay. It's okay. As long as it's not like
I like sometimes
I
I
don't
do
know.
in the people face, so she knows.
yeah.
The people know I'm doing, so
Yeah.
and she
and-
laughed too, so it's not
Let
only
that
me.
be a message. Never be afraid of how you feel, because if you feel a certain type of way, you need to let everybody around you know. Just real quick, I would like to share a little bit of a hot take.
Your hate for people.
I hate Taylor Swift. And I understand that there's people out there that like her, but I am not one of them. How do you feel about Taylor Swift?
I don't care about her. Like, I listen sometimes, but
I feel like hate is a very strong word. I don't hate
your
anyone,
grandma hates her.
but my grandma. Listen, guys, let me just tell you this little story. There is not one person in this world that hates Taylor Swift more than my grandmother, Bonnie Arlene. I'll come in the house like after school, and she'll look at me and be like, Taylor Swift was on the TV today and she's hideous and I hate her. I'm like, girl, I mean, I don't like her, but I'm not gonna sit there and be like, she's hideous and I hate her. My grandma's just,
Say, oh, I
And-
hate her. Really?
and I guess she thinks that she can pull Travis Kelce, because my grandma's like, yeah, Taylor, like he's too good for Taylor Swift. Like he should be with me. And I'm like, Grandma, you're like 87 years old. What are you talking about? And she's so invested in Taylor Swift. I'm not a big fan of her because I think that all of her songs
I
sound
like
the same.
more the older. The older songs is good.
Yeah.
Now it's more.
It's
You
just,
cheat on me. I hate you. Die. I like Midnight. Her album Midnight's not that bad.
I don't know. I just And you know what? And there's so much music in the world that not everyone has to like the same thing. And if you love Taylor Swift, then, good for you. At least you have a passion in this life. Personally, though, not my thing. Don't like her. I like All Too Well 10-minute version. And that one song that's like, you need to calm down, you're being too loud, because I like the music video for it. But that's really it.
Like, my kind of music's really, like, strange. But I like Charmaine's.
You like what?
Charmaine's.
What's that?
Mint. I don't know if saying Charmaine. Guys, English is...
Hey, you don't even have to worry about it, girl.
Ha! Charmaine's.
Oh, Shawn Mendes.
Mendes. You said Mendes. I say Charmaine's.
Isn't that so
I
crazy?
love it.
Well, thank you guys for listening, and be sure to subscribe to Red Devil Productions for future releases from our podcast studio.
See you in the next time. Bye.
Hello and welcome to Tall Tales with D&D, a storytelling podcast where each episode we bring in a guest to tell a story, but one part about it isn't true, and it's up to us to figure out the tall tale. I'm David Batingle.
And I'm Derek Johnson. Today on our penultimate episode, we brought in one of St. Clairsville High School's most famous storytellers, world-renowned mathematician, Mr. Baum. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
No problem, and what story will you be telling me and Derek today?
I'm going to tell you the story about the time my grandfather almost was killed 3 times in one day by the same dead deer.
Very, very ambitious story, Mr. Baum. Take it away.
Okay, well, this is in the 50s. It's clearly before I was born, and my grandfather, who I'm named after, his name was Andrew Delbert Mintz. I'm Jason Andrew. He went hunting in West Virginia with some of his friends, and they had a camp, and the camp was at the base of a mountain, and he went up the mountain and so far, and throughout the day he shot a deer.
Wow.
So when he shot the deer, he did what every hunter does. He takes his outer jacket off and rolls up his sleeves, and as was wont for my grandfather, he pulled out a cigarette, lit a cigarette, and started to field dress the deer. And for those of you in the know, it's a very messy situation, but he's kneeling down in the snow up on this mountain with his hands inside the carcass of the deer, field dressing it, when all of a sudden he feels this poke on his ribs, and he looks down and he sees the end of a shotgun poking him in the ribs. And he looks up at the gentleman, and the gentleman looks at my pappy and says, "That's my deer." So my grandfather takes his hands out of the deer, takes a cigarette out of his mouth, and says, "No, buddy, no, it's not, it's mine." And this argument persists for a while, and the gentleman pointing the shotgun at my grandfather is very persistent that that deer is his, that he had shot it, and my pappy, covered in deer blood and on his knees and in the snow and smoking a cig, says, "No, it's not." And he tells the gentleman numerous times that he should probably point that gun elsewhere because, the ice and the snow, if he slips, somebody could get hurt.
I was about to say, very, very calm for having a loaded firearm pointed right at him.
Well, it was the 50s.
Yeah, I was about to say, it was the 50s, so...
It was the 50s. So, anyways, after a back and forth for a while, the gentleman gets the idea that, nope, this deer must belong to my pappy. So my pappy goes back to field dressing the deer as the guy walks away, and that's the first time that dead deer had almost killed my pappy. But this story continues. After Pappy finishes field dressing the deer, and he cleans himself up as best as he can, he puts his outer coat back on, and he slings his rifle over his shoulder, and he gets the rope, and he ties one end of the deer to the rope, and he puts a loop on the other end, or a lasso, you could say, and he puts it over sideways across one shoulder and down the other side, so it's strung over from his left shoulder to his right side. And he starts to trudge through the snow down the mountain with this dead deer. Well, as he's going down the mountain in all the snow and ice, gravity takes hold of the deer, and it starts to pull the deer down faster than my pappy, which the rope catches, spins him around sideways, and pulls him down the mountain head first. And as all the snow and all the rocks and all the ice and all the dirt are going into his winter coat, he starts to panic because, it's cold. Hypothermia could set in. He's going head first down this mountain.
Yeah.
And he can't stop. Well, as luck would have it, this deer gets caught on a log or a branch that had fallen or something like that, and it stops for a moment. And Pappy comes to a stop right by the deer, and he's like, oh. And, he collects himself, but he's pretty scared and pretty shooken up. And he collects himself, and he's thinking, I got to get this jacket off so I don't die of hypothermia. I got to get this rope off of me so this deer doesn't pull me down the rest of the mountain. And I'm lucky to be alive right now. That was episode 2 of the same dead deer, almost killing my Pappy.
You think he'd learn? You think he would learn by now? Fool me twice, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But he kept going for that deer.
I'm not done yet.
It's a trilogy.
3 times.
3 times.
So let's hear the third.
As Pappy stands up, he realizes he's got to take the rope off of him because that's what caught him the first time. So he lifts the rope up over his head, but gravity took the deer a third time, and the deer started to go down the rest of the mountain. He yanked the rope out of Pappy's hands, but it caught onto his rifle. So it pulled him off of his feet again and pulled him down the rest of the mountain head first, continuing to fill his coat full of snow and rocks and ice and debris and whatnot. And when he gets to almost to the foot of the mountain, if not the foot of the mountain, he cracks his head off a rock, and he's knocked unconscious in the snow. Well, hypothermia could definitely set in at this point. He's unconscious. He's packed full of snow. This is a very bad situation, but fortunately, one of his hunting buddies had seen him. And they run up to my grandfather, and they start slapping him in the face, going, Andy, wake up. Andy, wake up. Are you okay? You okay? And my Pappy comes to, fortunately, and the guy wakes him up, and he gets him awake. They take his coat off and, all the snow out so he doesn't die from hypothermia. They get him near a fire and everything. And that's the story, and how a dead deer, the same dead deer, almost killed my Pappy in one day. And, the whole time, and this is no lie, never lost that cigarette.
Wow. Okay.
Jeez.
All right.
Man.
That is definitely a doozy and full of detail. But all right, Mr. Baum, thank you so much for telling that.
I could tell you this. We were shocked when we heard the story. I was in my 3rd or 4th year of college when he told us, and nobody in the family had ever known that. He must have forgotten it. I don't know, but I could tell you we were in shock when he told us that story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anyway, it's time for the debrief now. What happens here is me and Derek have 1 minute to recall information, ask you questions, and make a guess on what the lie is. All right, Derek, do you have any questions?
Well, you said he cracked his head on the 3rd time down the mountain. So, do you happen to recall, where the injury was on his head and, where the scar was?
Well, there was no scar, but I was also not born. This is in the 50s. I was born in the 70s.
Yeah.
So, and my grandfather had a full head of hair his whole life, so I wouldn't have seen it, but there was no scar. He just hit himself hard enough to knock himself unconscious. It wasn't his blood.
So was it more of a concussion or do you know specifically what it was, or?
Concussion protocols have changed a lot since I was in high school, and then let alone 40 years prior to that. I would assume a concussion if you're knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you were thinking this or not with that question, but were you thinking that it was on not the 3rd way down that he finally got a concussion, or?
Yeah, to me, I was thinking 3rd way down, he never got knocked out.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel the 3rd way down was the first time he got knocked out, or if that's where the concussion happened at. Do you agree?
Yeah, not to mention at the end, to quote you, and I'm not lying, he never lost his cigarette.
I don't know, that's very specific to say.
Yeah, very specific, so you wouldn't think it's a lie, but in order to not lose the cigarettes.
I think we're going to say that the concussion didn't happen on the 3rd time down, or the 3rd incident. Do you agree?
Yep.
He never smoked a cigarette. The rest of the story is 100% truth.
Wow.
He got us with the gotcha. Yeah, it's one of those questions where, again, you think just that's too specific, but that I will give you that's a sign of really good storytelling. Of that, it started with that and it ended with that. That was really good.
You Baum men are made of something else.
Well, he was immense. His family was from Germany also, but that was my mother's father. The Baum men, most of those stories I can't tell about. I just can't tell a lot of those stories.
Just his trials and tribulation with the deer, and yours with your favorite dog, Bear.
Oh,
I don't miss Bear one bit. That was the nastiest beast of mankind ever.
all right. Well, Mr. Baum, thank you so much for being on the podcast with us. We really appreciate it.
Not as much as I appreciate, gentlemen. This was a lot of fun. I'm very honored that you chose me.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you all for listening so much. Make sure to subscribe to Red Devil Productions on YouTube for future releases. Next episode is our final episode, and it's going to be a story from me. So, until next time, this is David.
And this is Derek.
Signing off. We'll see ya.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the WSTC News Podcast for May 2024, brought to you by the Belmont-Harrison Career Centers and St. Clairsville High School. I'm Chloe Bowers.
And I'm Zach Richardson. On today's episode, an update on the flooding in and around Belmont County, surprising news about an extinct animal, and a new movie release that inspired by a cinema classic.
In early April, Belmont County and many surrounding areas flooded after unusually heavy rainfall, affecting transportation and damaging properties in towns and cities along the Ohio River. In total, Belmont County damages have been estimated to be about $15.7 million. Due to this damage, the Ohio Emergency Management Agency has requested an introductory assessment with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, which is scheduled for early May. Before FEMA stepped in, the organization counted at least $21 million worth of damage statewide. Officials have to investigate each town to determine a precise cause to begin reconstruction. Outside of Belmont County, towns like Powhatan Point were also affected, where residents continued to clear out debris from basements and ground level floors. In Belmont County, though, locals say a great amount of progress has been made towards cleaning up and getting things back to normal.
A new trailer for Mufasa the Lion King released on May 2nd, the latest in a series of Disney movies going back nearly 20 years. Mufasa the Lion King is directed by Barry Jenkins, who has also directed the short film My Josephine, as well as his first film Medicine for My Melancholy, which received the Independent Spirit Award for Best First Feature. In his newest film, Jenkins is adding more tension to the relationship between the two brother lions, Scar and Mufasa, by recreating scenes from the original 1994 movie and adding more backstory behind the character of Scar. It turns out the Disney villain wasn't just power-hungry, he was also jealous and vengeful of his brother. In the trailer, Scar tells Sarbi, "Long ago you chose Mufasa over me," revealing his true desire and a new explanation for his actions in the classic. Mufasa the Lion King will premiere in theaters on December 20th, 2024. In the meantime, you can catch up with the entire movie series on Disney+.
A new study, published and accepted on December 1st, 2023 in the journal Paleontologia Electronica, is the latest chapter in an ongoing scientific dispute. According to the paper, Megalodon, the largest shark ever, may have had a longer and thinner body shape than originally thought. The new findings suggest Megalodon was a remarkably efficient predator, which may have allowed it to go longer without hunting, potentially impacting the ecosystem. Our study suggests that the modern great white shark may not necessarily serve as a good modern analog for assessing at least certain aspects of its biology, including its size, said Professor Kenshu Shimada, a paleobiologist at DePaul University in Chicago and the senior author of the study. Researchers used CT scans as a juvenile great white shark to examine the vertebrae of a megalodon, revealing differences in growth and prompting a re-evaluation of its body type. More information is still pending on this study and its ramifications on the future research of the megalodon, but has certainly sparked new debates.
A Japanese moon node known as SLIM has landed on the moon, but not everything is working as well as they thought. Many space agencies and countries have tried to land on the moon, but very few have succeeded, with Japan now adding to that number. Japan's Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA, launched the Smart Lander for Investigating Moon, or SLIM, on September 6, 2023, and went into orbit, landing on the moon a few months later. When it did land, it unfortunately rotated 90 degrees and landed on its nose. The battery power was limited, so they had to make it into hibernation. Despite this rocky end, the mission was considered a success. Now, with the countries trying to get into space, there will hopefully be more in the future. That's all for this episode of the WSTC News Podcast for May 2024. Be sure to subscribe to Red Devil Productions for future releases from the program.
Thank you to our copywriters for this episode, Zach Richardson, Chloe Bowers, Mariah Bedell, and Derek Johnson. See you next time.